But last year, when we held the first Seoul Climate Energy Conference, we came up with 10 things to do for the success of the UN Climate Summit. And those recommendations were delivered to Mr. Ban Ki-moon as G of the United States and the Secretariat. And Mr. Ban also came up with 5 chairs sum up after the summit. And as you see in this slide, we share many things in common. And yes, we need to do our best to cut emissions in every aspect, and we should embrace the changes already happened. And as we discussed today, we need to transform these challenges into new opportunities. Opportunities for sustainable growth and creating jobs. Yeah. And to realize this, we must connect the dots of the like-minded around the world and mobilize new coalition for expansion. And I think that's why we are here. Now, let me briefly share with you the story of Korea from my perspective. Since its proclamation of low-carbon green growth as national vision since 2008. In 2009, Korea voluntarily set up midterm emission target, reduction target, and enacted legislations such as Basic Act for Green Growth and Emission Trading Scheme. And as you see in this slide, something is happening. In the year 2011, the growth rate of emissions began to fall below that of economic growth rate. And last year, it fell below the net zero line for the first time in Korean industrial history. Yes, emissions decreased by 0.6%, while the economy grew by 3.3%, which means we can go green while we make growth. Yes, it's early to tell whether Korea has reached its emission peak. It's too early. There are many various factors. But this kind of decoupling trajectory shows the potential. We can be successful at green growth. And now let me briefly tell you about our green industries. As for renewables, Hanwha, which started its photovoltaic business from 2010, has now become almost global top 1 company in terms of cells and modules. And as for batteries and energy storage system, which is really critical for the energy revolution or Green Big Bang, the market share of Korean companies, LG Chemical and Samsung SDI, is amount to roughly 35% of the world market. And thanks to, as Mr. mentioned, thanks to the world-class ICT technology, the smart grid level has reached to the advanced level in a very short period of time. And there are also success stories of small and medium-sized companies. For example, Seoul Semiconductor, a tech-driven startup, became the world's top 4 LED chip maker. Yes, I believe green growth can work. However, I admit there are also shortfalls, and we still have a long way to go. For example, as Chairman Yang described, the governance structure for green growth has been weakened to some degree. The Presidential Committee for Green Growth was downgraded to Prime Minister's office level, which caused a control tower problem. But I believe, as you witnessed today, our green journey still continues forward, even if it is sometimes called with different name. And as you see again, bottom-up efforts are being actively made to fill the gap? Well, let's go back to our conference. As an outcome, today we come up with 5 recommendations for the successful March of Paris meeting, the COP21. We are going to receive your feedback, not just speakers, but those participants, and then, as we did last year, the key message will be delivered to SG Ban Ki-moon and UN Secretariat during the period of COP in Paris. Recommendation number 1, national leaders must come up with climate agenda and pledge. The role of UN must be respected in the spirit of Pax Universalitas. It is important to enhance the degree of ambition and coordinate individual national interest to produce a better and collective interest. Along with this, cooperation among climate-related regimes should be encouraged. GGKP, or the knowledge platform between World Bank, OECD, UNEP, and GGI can be a good example. And also, in Asia, there can be a regional cooperation by having more collaboration among climate-related regimes, as Zhang Haibin suggested. ADB has been operating since 1966, backed by Japan. And this year, AIIB, Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank, was launched by China. And in Korea, there are 2 important international regimes already, GCF and GGI. If those 4 regimes work together, especially on tackling climate change and building green infrastructure, such as low-emission energy system, we can create huge opportunities for a sustainable development in Asia. Number 3, send strong signal to the market. For example, it can be about carbon pricing and secure climate finance, and then trigger green Big Bang or green industrial revolution. In order for climate change to be a real opportunity for green industry and job creation, we believe we need to send a strong signal to the market, and that can be carbon pricing, as was suggested by Chairperson of the IPCC, Dr. Lee, and many other figures. And another critical thing to do in Paris is to secure climate finance, as agreed by the COP. $100 billion annually from 2020. If these 2 kept well, it will not only help developing countries to cope with climate change, but it will also trigger green industrial revolution or green Big Bang on a much more big scale, on a green global scale. Number 4, boom up local government activities with private-public partnerships. If nation-states and international regimes are making plans and policies for green transformation, then it is local government where implementing actions actually take place. In this sense, we welcome several thousands of total commitment to action from local governments that have already been registered at the Paris meeting. More than 4,000 commitment. And ECLA's activities and C40 city activities are also good examples. And we especially need to boom up local government activities with private-public partnerships, because private companies are also key part of transformation where the actions really take place. In this regard, the case of Eco Platform in Jeju, a partnership between Jeju Island, Jeju local government, LG, and KEPCO to realize carbon-free island, can serve as a notable example. Number 5, we need to strengthen communication platform and epistemic community. We, humankind, have always excelled at identifying problems and solutions in order to survive. So as to survive once again, this time, we need to strengthen our communication platform and epistemic community. This is why we, the Coalition of a Common Future, with the help of KAIST, are launching the Climate Times, which is a communication platform for sharing ideas and insights together to combat climate change. There is no business model to this, except for your participation. With your active participation, however, I strongly believe that it will contribute to enhancing public awareness and evolve into strong epistemic community for our sustainable future. And when we have strategy, finance, technology, people, and then social activity and communication platform together in a much more interoperable way, then I think we can change the world. And I call this Green Cube architecture. Well, exactly 200 years ago, in 1815, there held historic meeting, the Congress of Vienna, which became the origin of the modern diplomacy. However, the Congress of Vienna was known for delaying its discussions and outcomes. And there came out famous saying, "Le Congrès dansait beaucoup, mais il ne marche pas." In English, the Congress dances much, but it does not march or progress. My aspiration is that the upcoming Paris meeting would give birth to a new saying, "Le Congrès marche beaucoup." The conference marched really well and saved humankind. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. 감사합니다. See you next year.
오늘 우리는 열흘 후에 파리에서 열리는 COP21을 앞두고 그린 빅뱅에 대해서 논의했습니다. 지금 기후변화 시대를 우리가 수동적으로 따라갈 것이 아니라 그린 빅뱅이라는 획기적인 발전 전략을 통해 기후체제를 적극적으로 이끌어가자는 게 우리의 뜻과 생각이었습니다. 특히 제주에서 시작한 그린 빅뱅 모델이 파리 COP21에서 전 세계에 확산되기를 바랍니다. 이를 통해 기후변화에 적극적으로 대응하는 것이 미래로 나아가는 성장 동력이 될 수 있다는 희망을 우리 모두에게 줄 수 있기를 바랍니다. 작년 제1회 서울 기후에너지 컨퍼런스에서는 UN 기후변화 정상회의를 20일 앞두고 개최되어 UN 정상회의에서 무엇이 논의되어야 하는지에 대해 통찰력 있는 10개의 권고안을 제시하였고, 방기문 UN 사무총장님께서도 각국 정상회의에 의미 있는 반향을 일으켰습니다. 금년 제2회 컨퍼런스는 기후변화 체제의 시작을 앞두고 그린 빅뱅이라는 새로운 희망을 국제사회에 제시하는 자리이며, 이 역시 유엔에 전달될 것으로 알겠습니다. 오늘 이 자리가 제3회, 제4회 대회로 이어지면서 꼭 필요한 방향이고 과연 올바른 선언이었다고 기억되기를 확신합니다. 여러분 모두 건강하시고 희망찬 모습으로 제3회 서울 기후에너지 컨퍼런스에 뵙도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.